They say fear doesn't knock before it enters your life, but sometimes it does. And when it does, it doesn't come alone. It comes with a voice, a memory, a presence that knows you better than you know yourself. And tonight I'm going to tell you 3 stories, real stories, that might make you question every sound you hear, every shadow you see, and every door you forget to lock. So before you continue, take a moment, look around you, listen closely, because by the end of this, you may not feel as alone as you think you are. And our first story begins on a quiet winter night. The kind of night where the air feels unusually heavy, like something unseen is pressing against your chest, where even the silence feels loud, and every small sound feels like it carries meaning. Aisha was home alone. Her parents had gone out of town, and she had insisted she would be fine. It was just another night, or at least that's what she believed. She made herself tea, scrolled through her phone, laughed at a few videos. Everything felt normal, comfortable even, until it didn't, because at exactly 12:17 a.m., the silence broke with 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the door. Not rushed, not panicked, just calm, intentional, unnatural. She froze, her body stiff, her heart beginning to pound in her chest as her mind scrambled to make sense of it. No one had told her they were coming. No one should have been there. She checked her phone. No missed calls, no messages, nothing. And then it came again, louder this time. The same 3 knocks, echoing through the quiet house. And suddenly the air didn't feel the same anymore. It felt colder, heavier, like something had changed. She tried to convince herself it was nothing, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone needing help, but deep down, something didn't feel right. Something felt wrong. She slowly stood up, her legs feeling heavier with every step as she moved toward the door. The floor creaking beneath her feet, sounding louder than ever. And then, just as she reached the door, she heard it, a voice, soft, almost gentle, calling her name, Aisha. Opened the door, and in that moment, her blood ran cold, because the voice was her mother's, the same tone, the same warmth, the same familiarity. But her mother was miles away. She had spoken to her earlier. She knew she wasn't there. And yet the voice came again, this time more desperate, more urgent. Aisha, Beta, open the door. It's cold. Her hand trembled as it hovered near the handle. Her mind torn between logic and instinct, because everything inside her was screaming at her to open the door, to help, to respond. But something deeper, something primal was telling her not to, telling her that whatever was outside was not her mother. She stepped back, shaking, and quickly grabbed her phone. Dialing her mother's number with trembling fingers, the call connected, and when her mother answered, calm and unaware, everything inside her shifted. "Amy, are you outside?" she asked her, voice barely steady, and her mother replied, confused, "What? No, I'm at your aunt's house, why?" And before she could even process it, before she could speak again, a loud bang slammed against the door, shaking it violently. The sound echoing through the house like a warning, like anger, like something had just lost its patience. And then silence, complete and suffocating silence. No footsteps, no voice, nothing. Just the sound of her own breathing, shaky and uneven. She didn't sleep that night. She couldn't. Every second felt stretched. Every shadow felt alive. And when morning finally came, bringing with it a fragile sense of safety, she slowly approached the door, her heart still uneasy. And when she opened it, There was no one there, no footprints, no signs of anyone, just emptiness. But as her eyes moved across the wooden surface, she saw them. Deep, jagged scratch marks carved into the door, long and uneven, like something had been clawing its way in, like something had been trying to get inside or waiting for her to let in. And our second story begins in a small apartment where a university student named Hamza had just moved in. It was cheap, surprisingly cheap for its location, and while it seemed like a good deal, there was something about the place that felt off, something subtle, something he couldn't quite explain, but he ignored it because sometimes we choose comfort over instinct. The first few nights were uneventful, normal, but then something strange started happening. Every night, without fail, he would wake up at exactly 2:30 a.m., not because of a sound, not because of a nightmare, but because of a feeling, the unmistakable sensation that someone was watching him. At first, he brushed it off, blaming stress, overthinking, anything that made sense, but then came the mirror, a tall mirror placed directly across from his bed, reflecting the entire room. One night, as he woke up again at that exact same time, he glanced toward the mirror, and what he saw made his entire body go still, because in the reflection, he was sitting on the bed, staring straight ahead, but in reality, he was lying down, his breath caught in his throat, his mind unable to process what he was seeing. And then slowly, the reflection began to smile. Not a normal smile, not something human, but something wide, stretched, unnatural, like it didn't belong on a face. He shut his eyes tightly, tried to convince himself it wasn't real, that it was just a dream. But when he opened them again, everything looked normal. The reflection matched his position. Nothing seemed out of place. He sat up, shaken, but trying to rationalize it, telling himself it was nothing. But the next night, it happened again, only this time it was worse because the reflection wasn't sitting anymore. It was standing closer to the mirror, and behind it, there was something else, a tall, shadowy figure with no clear shape, no face, just a presence, looming behind him. He quickly turned around, his heart racing, but there was nothing there. The room was empty, silent, just as it had been, and when he slowly looked back at the mirror, his reflection was no longer alone. The shadow had moved closer, almost touching him, and then the reflection leaned slightly forward and whispered something, though no sound came out. He could read the lips clearly, "Don't turn around," and his body went cold because he already had, and yet there was still nothing behind him except the overwhelming feeling that something was now there, standing just out of sight, watching him, breathing in the same air, existing just beyond what he could see. He left the apartment the next morning, never returning, but even now, sometimes in the middle of the night, he wakes up at exactly 2:30 a.m., his heart racing, afraid to look at any mirror, because deep down he knows, what if the reflection is still there, waiting? And the final story begins not with fear, but with curiosity, because sometimes curiosity is what opens doors that should never be touched. Imran had just moved into an old house. It was large, quiet, and far too cheap, but he needed a place quickly, so he didn't question it. The house had a strange smell, something old, something that felt like it had been there for too long. Everything seemed normal at first, except for one thing. A small door at the end of the hallway, always locked. The landlord had been very clear about it. "Don't try to open it," he had said, but warnings like that don't stop curiosity. They feed it. Every night, Imran began to hear something coming from behind that door. At first it was faint, almost easy to ignore, like a soft scratching sound. But over time it grew louder, more persistent. until one night he pressed his ear against the door, listening carefully, and for a moment there was nothing, just silence. And then suddenly a whisper, soft but unmistakable, "Let me out." He jumped back, his heart pounding, his mind racing with possibilities. Was someone trapped inside? Was this some kind of joke? He called the landlord immediately, but the response was cold and firm. "No one is in that room, and I told you to stay away from it." But the sounds didn't stop. If anything, they became more desperate, more intense, scratching, whispering, sometimes even crying. And eventually, curiosity overcame fear. He searched the house until he found the key, hidden away as if it had been deliberately kept out of sight. His hands trembled as he held it, knowing he shouldn't, but unable to stop himself, and slowly he unlocked the door. It creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness. An empty room with no furniture, no windows, nothing at all. He stepped inside cautiously, trying to convince himself it was all in his head, but the moment he turned back toward the door, it was gone. The hallway had disappeared, and now he was standing inside the room with no way out. The air grew colder, heavier, and from the corner of the room, something began to move, a shape forming out of the darkness, twisting, crawling, unnatural in every possible way. And then it spoke, its voice low and final. "You shouldn't have opened it." Days later, when authorities enter the house, Imran was gone. The locked room was still locked from the outside, untouched, and inside there was nothing except for thousands of scratch marks covering the walls, and one sentence written over and over again, as if carved in desperation: "Don't let him out, so now I ask you." What is more terrifying, the thing outside your door, begging to come in, the reflection that isn't really you, or the door you were never meant to open? Because sometimes fear isn't about ghosts, sometimes it's about the choices we make, the instincts we ignore, the warnings we dismiss, because not everything that calls your name should be trusted, and not every door is meant to be opened. And if this story made you feel something, if even for a moment you felt like you weren't alone, then hit subscribe and write Midnight Call in the comments so I know you're part of this world, because here, we don't just tell stories, we listen to what hides in the dark. So tonight, before you sleep, make sure your doors are locked, because something might already be waiting.